Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't posted much lately, and that's because the winter in Pacific Northwest is glooming, so the opportunities of playing tennis are reducing very fast. A lot of people went back to college, so some people are injured. However, the good news is that I'm now partnering with Coach Vincent here in Seattle area, who will presumably help me develop my game a little bit more. And honestly, so far, I think he has improved my game quite dramatically. I would even say much more than in the last like 2 months or so. And really, the reason is that having a coach is important because he will able to direct you and spot some of the weaknesses in your game and make you work on those. Because sometimes when you play, you're not always able to see what are your weaknesses. So here on this practice session, we are going to start off with a warm-up. Right now we are warming up, and this practice will only be forehands. So the purpose of it's going to be a series of videos of how I'm trying to make my forehand a real weapon, because my forehand is not so good. But living without a forehand is pretty much impossible. So here we are using arm only, no wrist. The purpose of this exercise is to just warm up and feel the ball sitting on the racket. It's literally about 20-30% pace. So I'm just really thinking about my technique, thinking about my elbow, so that I'm thinking about my elbow staying up. Because I have a tendency to drop it and not dropping my elbow when I initiate the shot. So I'm trying to just go into the ball right away. Not doing a very good job here right now with that particular part, but not as bad as it used to be. Second exercise is that we are now going to be using wrist only. So I'm now using not as much of the arm. I'm focusing on really brushing the ball and feeling the spin. So here I'm just taking a short swing and accelerating the racket. I'm trying to point the butt cap of my racket towards the ball as the ball coming in, and then I accelerate the racket as the ball gets closer to my body. Here I'm hitting a couple backhands that I'm not supposed to. So let's go back to the forehand. So this exercise is pretty straightforward, right? We're generating a lot of spin with the wrist fast movement. Now, a couple words on the coach. You can see him a little bit in the frame. So he was able to help me quite a lot, actually. To be honest, way more than I expected. And if you are like my suggestion, if I know a lot of people watching me from Pacific Northwest, I would say if you are trying to play college, especially Division I college. I don't know anyone who wants to be pro. I mean, I know one person, but anyway. So like, if you're trying to be playing Division I college, I think you should highly consider talking to Vincent, especially if you're playing already on a decent level. He is the one that will take you to the next level. At least he is helping me to do that right now, and I can tell you I'm immediately feeling the benefit and improvement. So. Here's another view of the same drill. Again, it's the same drill where I brush the ball, but here I'm trying to thinking about my elbow. Here in particular, it's not as good as I want it to be. Like I'm taking the racket back with my elbow staying up, but right before I'm hitting the ball, the elbow kind of drops, and I'm not exactly happy about that. So. Yeah, full work, wrist. Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to imitate and see what I'm doing, because it's very hard to understand what you're doing when you don't see yourself. Like you don't see. I mean, it helps to see myself playing right now, but when you're in the court, it's hard to stay disciplined about those shots. So here I'm gonna let Vincent talk us through the drill a little bit, and then I'll comment later.
You should be able to tack. No, wait. How are we going to do that? No, because the player here is going to move a lot. So you're supposed to come, don't play fast guys, huh? Let's see. Okay, you're supposed to come inside here, shuffle back, play that ball here. We have those two forehands, okay? You're just in charge of putting the ball here, putting the ball here. There you go.
Okay. So this is a great drill that you can do with your partner, right? So the two cones, you can see the cone 1 and cone 2, cone 1 being closer to the net and cone 2 being closer to the baseline. It's a very good movement drill. So it's mostly about moving your feet and getting set up for the ball. So for me, right? So right now I'm focusing on my footwork, which is also lacking quite a lot. The person on the other side, or which could be your friend, opponent, whoever, is working on offensive game style essentially. So like the shot that's supposed to be closer, that kind of shot where he's trying to hit the cone one, that's supposed to pull me off the court, and that will set him up for a offensive next shot, right? So he's practicing that fast, short angle forehand. After that, the purpose is to hit the second ball deep down to the middle, and which, by the way, what helps me a lot to think about of a tennis court as 4 zones. So like, let's say zone 1 is all the way to the right, zone 2 is where the second cone is, and then the 3 and 4 is on the outside the same way. So like, just essentially look at the baseline, divide it in 4 equal parts, and then from right to left, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. So here my opponent is working zone 1 and zone 2. So zone 2 is the deep one. That is somewhat of a challenging shot, and then so for me, I'm not trying to hit that shot very offensively. That's essentially, I'm trying to stay in the game and hit that ball back to the zone 2 of my opponent. When I'm getting a shot into the zone 1 or like a shorter zone 1, I'm trying to go. I'm actually still trying to work the zone 2. So I'm really working the middle here of my opponent. But when the ball lands into zone 1, I'm working a little bit more aggressively than I do when the ball lands into zone 2. So I'm gonna leave you to it to watch a little bit of this practice, and just I'm thinking about some of the things that I'm thinking about here mostly is my wrist, especially my footwork. So my forehand and my footwork, and trying to have a lot of shape on the ball. Putting shape on the ball is also something I'm not very good at, so that's what I'm practicing right now.
One more, come on, more. Go. Hey! High. The high one.
Okay, so here's the view from the other side. So now I'm the one that's trying to practice this offensive shot. So the point of this shot, right, like that one right there, where I'm working the zone 1, but like the shorter zone 1, is to have not as much of a neck clearance. So that, because what I don't want to happen is that when you're hitting the shot, if you're putting too much topspin, the ball will bounce too high up, and that will open up an opportunity for your opponent to switch it down the line and switch it pretty fast. So here I'm trying to work on the shot that it has a little bit lower neck clearance, bounces a little bit shorter, and pulls my opponent off to the side. What essentially my goal is for my opponent to cross the sideline. So for when he's going to be getting that ball, he will be crossing the sideline. So same, and then again, a lot of people, including me, underestimate a really good forehand into the zone 2, into the zone 2, where it's like essentially deep to the middle with lots of topspin. That shot actually, it was so underrated by me that when I started to use more of it, I'm getting so many short balls after that shot, where that it created kind of the feeling, okay, what was I doing without that shot before? So it's a really cool shot. You can try to implement that. Here, by zone 2, I mean, is the second ball that I'm hitting after the first short cross court, the one that I'm going down deep to the middle. Okay. I'm gonna leave you to it to watch it a little bit more, and then we're gonna go to the next exercise.
I can.
Okay, so here's another exercise you can do with your friend or opponent, right? So here the coach feeds the ball, but the variation, if you had a friend doing that without a coach, would be to ask your friend, well, for you to probably feed the ball cross to the forehand and then feed another. Oh, well, sorry. No, probably feed easy ball down to down the line to your opponent's backhand, and for that, for your opponent to rip it down the line, for you to then switch it cross, and then the point starts from there. So here is that, as you remember, for the first part of this practice session, I was working on zone 1 and zone 2, working those zones. And in here, I'm trying to now slowly implement it in a little bit more of a competitive environment where I'm getting a fast shot down the line. Well, it's coming to me down the line. That means that opponent probably left the other part of the court open, and so I'm trying to take this ball early and make the opponent move all the way across to the other side of the court, and that way I'm opening up opening up the rest of the court to further develop the point. So again, I'm gonna leave you up to watching this for a little bit, and we're gonna go to the next exercise after. It's getting dark, by the way. This was I don't know. It's only about maybe 6:30 p.m. or so, but it's getting dark in Pacific Northwest pretty fast.
Walk the point. No. Don't try to finish when it's too short. Yes, exactly. Walk deep.
Okay, so here comes another exercise. So now it's slightly switched off, where the people on the opposite side are ripping the ball into the zone 1 and like somewhat of a short forehand. So they're trying to put me into a bad situation. However, their second shot is the slice down the line. So there are two things that happening here really. So you have two options. After, for example, let's say they rip that shot short cross. There are a couple of things you can do. One thing is that if me, would be the opponent, for example, if I moved all the way off to the right like there, it would be like, so I'm opening up the court a lot. The right decision there would be to step into the court and then switch the ball down the line, not necessarily hitting it hard, but taking it early and taking the time away from me. So that shot will be very effective. On the other hand, if you see that your opponent is not really moved all the way out past the sideline, one of the things you could do is to do slice down the line to the person's backhand. That's also a very effective shot, because not only for that shot I have to move all the way across the court, but it's going to be my backhand. The slice ideally would be low. It would be a hard shot to do something about it. Like, most of the time that ball is going to go cross, and then you're going to then from there develop the point further. But that's just something to keep in mind. You have two options here. In this case, we are working on option 2, where those two guys are doing the slice. So again, that's not something I would recommend doing off of every shot, but it's definitely something that can work.
Right, that was real.
Yeah.
Remember the backhand we did yesterday?
Oh!
Yeah. Next, go.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Okay, and here I had to adjust some settings on my camera because it's getting really dark. It was even hard to see the ball at that point. But here we are practicing our returns. So like it's one way to practice reaction time. So if you struggle to return big serves, this exercise is good to just kind of train short swing and reaction time. It's not necessarily gonna it doesn't directly train return, but it's just good for short swing and reaction time purposes, and just kind of feeling the ball, just feeling the follow through of the ball when you're getting a really big shot. And I'm also struggling lately with returns, so that's something that this kind of exercise will help you get your timing right on the return. That's about it for today. Please let me know in the comments what you think, and if you want to see more videos like this, I'm planning to shoot a couple more videos from practice sessions with Vincent, and how I'm able to improve my game. So hopefully these kind of drills will help you as well. And and if you're in Pacific Northwest trying to play D1 tennis, let me know in the comments, or feel free to email me. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.